Alright, this video is just on the basics of algebra that we've been talking about in class for the past couple of days in math. And I know that you guys at home are no longer doing the homework side that this would pertain to. However, I know a lot of you out there definitely would want to keep up with what your child is doing in 4th grade math, so I thought these videos would still be able to help you out. So let's get started. The first thing that we talked about in class yesterday was the identity property. And the identity property basically states that any letter is 1 times that letter. So for example, n would equal 1 times n. And if you really think about it, I mean, in algebra, of course, the letters represent numbers. So you could say n equals 5. Well, 5 really does just equal 1 times 5. So how that applies to the homework is, okay, if we have 7n plus n, well, you want to think of that as, okay, 7 n's plus 1 more n would give me 8n. The commutative property is also something we talked about, and it works with addition and multiplication only. Obviously does not work with subtraction or division because you can't go frontwards or backwards with division and subtraction. So it just states basically that a plus b equals b plus a. It does not matter which one you add first or what order you add them in. They're always going to equal the same thing. Same thing with multiplication. You could say a times b, and that would equal b times a. So if you want to apply it to numbers, I guess you could think of it as this way, that 5 times 3 would equal 3 times 5. Once again, it doesn't matter if I do 5 first or 3 first, it's going to be the same thing. So that, in a nutshell, is the commutative property, being able to go any which way. The way that applies and relates to this algebra stuff is basically kind of what I talk to the kids about is play the game of what's missing. So on both sides of the equal sign or in the equation, it has to be equal. It has to be the same thing. So if on the left side of my equation I have 5 times 2, and that was going to equal a times 5, well, based off of my commutative property, I can go in any order. So what's missing? Okay, well on the left side I have a 5 and a 2, and on the right side I only have a 5. So the a had to have been the 2. So a equals 2. The last thing we talked about is order of operations. Order of operations plays a critical part in this entire chapter because the kids are going to be solving and reducing and simplifying equations this chapter. So the order that I told the kids to go in, and very, very important, is number 1, always take care of the parentheses first, and then you take care of multiplication and division, and then last but not least is addition and subtraction. And just like when we read a book, we want to go left to right. So here's an equation using the order of operations. So you see here in the parentheses we have 15 divided by 3, and then plus 6 would equal x. So what you want to do first is take care of those parentheses. So you want to do that first. 15 divided by 3 is 5. So what I told the kids to do is almost just take a pencil or pen and almost just cross out the parentheses, and you are left with your 5 as well, what was that of parentheses, and that was 5. So then I add on the 6, and I get x. So then x would equal 11. And that really, in a nutshell, was lesson 1. So just keeping you informed at home, and good luck this chapter.